Excellent. Well, welcome. I'm Lori Call, Assistant Vice Chancellor of Local Government and Community Engagement here at CU Boulder. And on behalf of Chancellor DeStefano and the campus, I am honored to welcome the Colorado Municipal League back to campus 100 years after CML's first meeting. Thanks for joining us today to celebrate this impressive milestone. I want to recognize Mayor Aaron Brockett and Boulder's Chief Policy Advisor, Carl Castillo. Every day, CU works alongside our city leaders and staff who do such a great job of running Boulder. We really treasure our partners in the city and know that many of you demonstrate the deep connections between education and the cities and towns of Colorado. I want to recognize CML Executive Director Kevin Baumer, the CML staff, and CML members from throughout the state who have joined us for today's celebration. Thanks for coming back to Boulder, and special shout out to the alums who are back on campus after some time as well. Since we are a university, I thought it would be appropriate to provide a brief history lesson on the connection that began between CU and CML 100 years ago. CU hosted the first conference here at Macky on April 26, 1923, and representatives from 15 municipalities from Windsor to Grand Junction to Trinidad came to town. I'm so proud that Boulder City Council member Ida Campbell was part of the conference, one of the only women, so go Boulder. And the inaugural conference was hosted by CU's Extension Division. From there, CML was formed. At the onset, CU provided CML with support including staffing, office space, and administrative needs, and CML consulted with our faculty and leveraged our library. In fact, many of CML's early documents are still part of our archives. For 30 years, CML was formally connected to CU. Over time, the structure evolved, but CU's proud to be part of CML's rich history supporting Colorado's cities and towns. Early documents refer to a spirit of cooperation, which I know continues to be an important value of both CML and CU. We're really glad that today's celebration will include the opportunity for you to see some of our students, highlighting our mission as an education institution. So I'll wrap up my comments now and turn it over to Kevin Baumer. Thanks for coming back to Macky.
Thanks, Lori, and thank you to everyone on your team, the team here at Macky, for hosting this very special event today. It is quite a surreal moment, if you think about it. Here in Macky Auditorium, 100 years to the day from where just up the staircase over here, the first conference took place. Where George Norland delivered opening remarks to the 15 municipalities present. President Norland, obviously a famous and storied individual in CU lore and history, placed before the gathered leaders a goal that rings true today, one of citizens joined in partnership for, in his words, the sake of the best of life. And they shared a dedication for a better future for Colorado and a strong belief that local government, being closest to and most responsive to citizens, something we still talk about even this morning with our friends down at the state capitol, is also the most effective at resolving public policy issues. While much has changed in the last 100 years, much has not. But let's talk about things that have changed. 100 years ago, the state's population was 940,000. It's about 5.8 million now. CML's membership started with 11 founding members. We count 270 cities and towns strong right now, and I've got my marching orders to get the rest. Annual dues, they may have gone up a little bit. They're $5 for municipalities under 1,000 and maxed out at $40 for municipalities over 50,000 people. So just a little bit of an increase in the past 100 years. But one thing that hasn't changed, even though it wasn't articulated as a vision then, it made as much sense 100 years ago as it does now. CML's vision of empowered cities and towns united for a strong Colorado. It rings true, it remains strong and steadfast. So today we're here to celebrate the visionary individuals who decided to form the Colorado Municipal League and answer the call of President Norlin to be joined in partnership for the sake of the best of life. We're honored to have representatives from the 11 founding municipalities who voted to form the Colorado Municipal League here today. Please join me in welcoming, and I know there's other individuals representing, but I always like to make sure I get the board members whenever I can. John Marriott, council member from the city of Arvada. I know Lisa Smith, council, is here with him. Aaron Brockett, mayor of city of Boulder. We're going to hear from Mayor Brockett shortly. Dana Sherman, the mayor of the city of Brush. Ryan Stevens, city administrator for the city of Canyon City. Mayor Lynn Deal of the city of Fort Morgan. Mayor Anna Stout from the city of Grand Junction. Mayor Pro Tem Don Overcash from the city of Loveland. Kelsey Harms, the town clerk and treasurer from the town of Haxton. Nick Gradishar, mayor of city of Pueblo. Phil Rico, mayor of city of Trinidad. And Paul Rennemeyer, the mayor of the town of Windsor. So we thought here 100 years later, it might be kind of fun to peel back the curtain and take everyone back 100 years. Now, it may not have gone down exactly how you're going to see it, but none of us were here then. I don't think. Anyone here then 100 years ago? No. So it's now my pleasure to introduce performers from the CU Sandbox Student Series for their representation of this momentous occasion. Take it away, gang.
Colorado, the centennial state, given that name for being founded on the 100-year anniversary of our great nation. Colorado features include beautiful mountains where not only animals, but people climb to see new heights. Colorado has a breathtaking river that gives nourishment to its people and stunning sunsets that inspire people and tell us to dream bigger. It also has wind that smells like cow poop in some parts. Hey, it's helpful. That's how you know it'll snow. Of course, this place brings joy to many who decide to tread these lands. But with those beauties and those who come here, how do we maintain these sites? And how did we even begin to unify this land to become a state? If we look to the 1800s, you may think things like wars, industrial revolution. Colorado was a settling place where trappers and miners could come and start their lives. But the issue that came with going out in the middle of nowhere, alone with nothing but your family and a dog that keeps running into a body of water that's probably infected, is that there's no one to help you. So how did our great state come to fruition? And how does a state become a state? That's when a group of people came together and started planning on a partnership. Well, more of a league, but it's practically the same thing. They came together and planned to unify the state. One would call them a Colorado Unity Group? No? Okay. Well, this group came together and came up with some ideas that would help the state become healthier and more unified. A state that recognizes other cities and bodies of people. To start, they needed to meet somewhere. Now, of course, they would need to find a central city that was easy and accessible for other neighboring cities to get to.
What about Greeley?
No, it's too far.
What about Grand Junction?
There's so much sand, it just kind of gets everywhere. It's, you know.
Oh, I know, I have the perfect idea. You ready?
Okay.
Our state's capital, Denver.
It's too on the nose.
Yeah.
We're more creative than that. Okay. We need a city that just exemplifies what Boulder is. Beautiful, tourists like to come here, bustling businesses, a restaurant that tall people just can't stand.
Right. A place that really attracts a lot of Californians.
Yeah, you're right.
A place with a lot of frat guys.
Oh yeah, a place with the perfect view of the Flatirons. Boulder.
Well, now that we've decided on a place to meet, what do we want to do once we're actually an organization? Well, I think we should have a purpose.
Okay, how about this? To unify our government, help out cities, municipalities, with resources like libraries and community centers.
Well, somebody get me a Staples button, because that was easy.
No, that was awful.
Yeah.
Not funny.
Yeah, it's a little joke. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, how do we get these cities to join?
Well, first off, they have to live in Colorado.
Good point.
Second, any town or municipality can join,
Awesome, love it.
and they have to pay dues in order to join.
What?
To support the community. I mean, come on, you really didn't think that, these publications and helpers for annual conventions are just gonna fall out of the sky.
It would be cool if they did.
It would be really cool.
All right, so we'll have them pay dues.
Right?
Now,
Oh, and then maybe we can have like places like Paxton, the
Okay.
smaller city, that can pay like $5. And then we can have a place like Pueblo pay $40.
8 times the amount.
It's a bigger city.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so you make a good point. Who's gonna run these events?
A president,
Okay.
Of America.
He's definitely busy.
You're right.
a president, and then we'll have 5 vice presidents, and then a treasurer and secretary.
Why 5?
Seems efficient.
All right.
Yeah, make it- Okay.
Well, sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we have these events going,
Right.
we need someone to run it.
Right.
Okay. So, with rules, guidelines, and some truly terrible jokes.
Right, yeah.
This league was born. Many members came from around the state to gather and bring our state closer to progress and begin to learn. The first meeting started off with a wonderful speech from the president of this here university. Side note from writer, might add more here just about who the president
let's move on.
is
Yep,
and
just-
okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. Every now and then, I have an occasion to realize that in some respects, the ancients were in advance of our own time. I now recall a sentence which sticks in my memory from reading a book of Aristotle, published more than 2,000 years ago. Speaking of the state, and he was thinking not of the great national units which are familiar to us, but of the city-state of this day, which has little more than a modern community. He defines it as a partnership of all its citizens, not for the sake of mere living, but for the sake of the best life. He meant, I take it, that the community is a partnership, not the sake of a personal security, of police protection alone, but a partnership in the promotion of health, of intelligence, of morals, and beauty. That definition sets for us the goal toward which we are striving and from which we are still far removed. However progressive we have been in other respects in the matter of city government, we have been one of the backward nations of the world. You remember that Sir James Bryce, in his great work on our institutions, the American Commonwealth, says many complimentary things about the workings of democracy in the United States, but has little good to say of the administration of the American city. That has been in the past notoriously inefficient and even corrupt. Fortunately, we have awakened upon the subject and have made great progress in this regard during the last quarter century. We can now hardly imagine the possibility of such a condition existing as made it possible for the Tweed Ring to levy a greater tribute from the people of New York City than the German army levied upon the city of Paris at the end of the Franco-Persian War. We have advanced very appreciably in eliminating from our city's political administration and the spoils system in favor of a business administration and the scientific management. And the best thing which has happened in the dawn of the conviction among us that the municipality can and should be a partnership in promoting the best and fullest life. I regard this conference as a very hopeful sign of our great interest in this problem. I'm happy that the university has a part in bringing you together, and I hope that your meetings here will be so profitable that you will feel it to be worthwhile to effect a permanent organization.
Wow, that guy has a whole quad named after him.
He's more than just a lawn for college kids to hang out on. He was the president of our school.
He's a library too.
Oh my god.
Okay, there's more people than just Norland. There's also John M. Jackson.
Who's that?
He was the president of the Pueblo City Council and one of the founding members of our league. He also made an important speech to welcome us all here today.
If any of us had the least doubt in our minds as to the warm reception we were to receive at the hands of the good people of Boulder and the University of Colorado, I am sure all such fear has been removed by the cordial and gracious words of welcome of President Norlin. Many of us, however, have known something of Boulder's hospitality and the courteous treatment on previous occasions, and to us, the assurance of the speakers only confirms opinions previously formed upon knowledge. You have the most wonderful little city here, and we do not wonder that you are proud of it. Located as you are in the beautiful little valley nestled at the foot of these mighty, towering, snow-capped peaks, the very air you breathe brings you inspiration and the joy of real living. We, the people, from every city, town, and hamlet in the state, rejoice with you in all of your city's prosperity, and particularly in the upbringing of this great institution of learning. For it is our school as well as yours, and in it are educated many of our sons and daughters, so that we too are much interested in your city and appreciate the fact that it is a city of culture and refinement. We trust as the years go by, Boulder and the university will continue to grow and prosper, and that all the cities and towns of Colorado may share more and more in this prosperity by increased numbers of students to this school, to receive an education and be returned well-fitted for citizenship in this great commonwealth. Our particular mission here at this time is to discuss specific subjects in relation to our municipal governments, hoping thereby to benefit ourselves and our constituency. As officials, this is our first duty, but as citizens, we should not lose sight of the fact that the prosperity of our own city largely depends upon the prosperity of every other city, and that the prosperity of all of them depends upon the development of the wonderful resources of this great state. Not upon the development of a portion of its resources in a portion of the state, but upon the development of all of the resources in all parts of the state, from its northern to its southern boundary, from its eastern to its western boundary. I realize that I am taking a great deal of territory when I do it, but I want to assure you that we will not betray your confidence, but will conduct ourselves here as well as the usual crowds away from home without chaperones. Wow, what a guy.
Those are some good speeches.
Those are some really good speeches.
Yeah. Are you guys actors?
Yeah.
Yeah, we dabble.
You
Oh,
act.
exactly.
That's impressive. That's really cool. Yeah. Awesome.
There's just one more problem, I believe.
What's
We don't
that?
have enough people to form a league yet.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sure we do. You know, that three's a crowd.
Well, three's a crowd, and with you, it's a daycare.
All right.
Nice one.
Okay. All right, Miss High and Mighty. You think you're so smart. Where do you think we're gonna get people to form this group? Oh. You're not gonna lie. I totally forgot y'all were
They're pretty
here.
quiet.
Yeah, you guys can speak up. It's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're now going to vote. If you would like to join our league, please say aye after we call your name.
Mark Williams, Mayor, City of Arvada, would you like to join our league?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Aaron Brockett, Mayor, City of Boulder. School bus.
Aye.
Yeah.
Dana Sherman, Mayor, City of Brush, would you like to join?
Aye.
Awesome.
Ryan Stevens, City Administrator, City of Cannon City. Would you like to join?
Lynn Deal, Mayor, City of Fort Morgan, would you like to join?
Mayor Stout, City of Grand Junction, would you like to join? Awesome.
Don Overcash, Mayor Protem, the lovely City of Loveland. Would you like to join?
Kelsey Harms, Town Clerk and Treasurer, Town of Haxton, would you like to join?
Nick Grandishar, Mayor, City of Pueblo, would you like to join?
All right.
Yeah, great, okay.
Phil Rico, Mayor, City of Trinidad. Would you like to join?
And Paul Reinemeyer, Mayor, City of Windsor, would you like to join?
I would.
You know, I was born in Windsor.
Wait, I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah, Windsor, California.
Oh, you're one of those. Yeah, you're part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, with that, I believe we have the Centennial Founders Club.
You're so bad. Naming
So
it's
close
a
to me.
mouthful.
It's like almost
just
there.
long.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you think we should call it then?
What about the Colorado Organization Network?
Oh! Ooh. Acronym for that one could
Yeah.
get iffy. CO.
Ooh. How about the Colorado Municipal League?
What
do you guys think?
It's quite an act to follow. I'm Dale Hall, and I am proud to serve as CML's president as we celebrate our 100th anniversary of the league. I want to thank Boulder, CU Boulder, and City of Boulder for hosting us today for this momentous occasion. You know, a little bit about me. I started to learn about CML when I was in the 90s. I was a county commissioner, and I was part of Colorado Counties Inc. And we knew of CML, but you know, they were the big cities and all that type of thing. So us counties didn't really have that much to do with them. There were not that much in common. But in the 2000s, I became a state representative for the city of Greeley. And there I really did learn about what CML is all about. And I learned Sam Mamet, Kevin Brommer was there. They always had my little elbow trying to go, hey, go this way or go that way. So it was always a good thing for me to learn about what was happening. And I think what CML has meant to me is basically it's a place where we can get together as cities, towns, municipalities of all sorts, and be able to talk about what problems we have and maybe what solutions we might have to give to other people so that they can do some of the same things without going over the same steps. I also think, as you might know right now, we have a little issue going on downtown Denver, and we have to have our representation for cities' needs and efforts. So we have a lot of advocates for us, and that's what CML does for the benefit of cities and towns. The board of directors is what's presiding over our, presiding over our first conference, had a lot in common with the visionaries and leaders sitting on our current board of directors, and some are here today. I'd like to introduce our current CML executive board members who were able to join us. Jessica Sandgrens from Mayor Pro Tem Thornton. I'm going to make y'all wave, so just do the wave thing. Secretary Treasurer is Juanetta Massey, City of Colorado Springs, City Attorney. Immediate past President Bob Widener, sorry Bob, keep doing that. City of Centennial. He's City Attorney there. Is Greg Canton here? Greg's not here. Okay. But Greg is not here, so he doesn't get recognized. No, wait, I just recognized him. Okay. John Marriott, Arvada Council Member, and Dana Sherman Brush Mayor. Okay. Did we miss anybody that's on the board? Okay. So in addition to the board, we all know that staff is vital to the success of the league. And in my opinion, we have the best staff who work hard for the league and for towns and municipalities around the state. I'd like to quickly introduce staff members who were able to join us today. And again, you got to do the little wave thing. So, as you know, Kevin Baumers, Executive Director. Allison Wright, Administration and Finance Manager. Denise White, Engagement and Communications Manager. Is she? She was here.
She's engaging.
She's I thought she was communicating. Rachel Bender, Associate Counsel. Okay. Alex Miller, Graphic Designer. Laura Larkin, Executive Assistant. Karen Rosen, Meeting and Events Planner. Way in the back there, eventing and planning. And the advocacy team is hard at work, as you can just imagine. They're not here because they're trying to bend arms and take elbows the right directions that we need to have them go to. So, as you know, the session wraps up May 8th, and hopefully it'll be done for the year, and they can all go home and relax a little bit. And at this moment, it's my pleasure to introduce Aaron Brockett, Mayor of City of Boulder.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my honor to welcome you on behalf of the City of Boulder to our fair city. So thanks so much for coming and being here today. And thanks so much to the university for hosting us, for hosting CML and its foundation and for its first few decades, and for being such a phenomenal community partner today. And maybe if you're a Buff alum, maybe if you could raise your hand. How many Buffs do we have here today? Fantastic, fantastic. So, and if we could get a round of applause for our amazing student performers, that was extraordinary. When I was talking about this event a couple weeks ago, I joked about whether we might have a reenactment if we'd all be dressing up, and y'all actually made that happen. There's a reenactment. That was so cool. And then if we could have the representatives of those first 11 cities, if you're from one of those 11 cities, if you could stand up, please. I'm already standing up here. But let's just recognize the foresightedness of our past colleagues from 100 years ago to come together at this very spot on this very day 100 years ago to form this league. So great work, everybody. So I'm mainly up here to read a declaration in honor of CML. So here I go. Celebrating CML's 100-year anniversary, April 26th, 2023. April 26, 2023 marks the 100-year anniversary of the Colorado Municipal League, an organization dedicated to providing information resources, advocacy, and support to the cities and towns across Colorado. As we celebrate this milestone, it is fitting to reflect upon the long history that Boulder has had with CML and the significant value that this relationship has resulted in both for the Boulder community and all of Colorado. On April 26, 1923, representatives from 15 Colorado municipalities gathered for 3 days at the newly built Macky Auditorium to discuss municipal issues facing Colorado. The delegates listened to an opening address presented by George Norlin, then president of the University of Colorado. And by the way, you can visit Norlin Library after this if you would like to see part of his legacy, who observed that the best thing that has happened is the dawn of the conviction among us that the municipality can and should be a partnership in promoting the best and fullest life. Among the delegates was City of Boulder Council member Ida Campbell, the first woman to ever be elected to the newly formed City Council of Boulder. Upon adjournment, the Boulder delegates and 10 other representatives remained on site to establish what is now known as the Colorado Municipal League. Since then, CML has grown to the point where 270 of Colorado's 273 municipalities are now members. And Kevin, you do need to work on rounding that out to the, okay, good. Each benefiting from the organization's efforts to protect the needs and priorities of Colorado cities. So all of this has occurred under the guidance, all of this work under the guidance of CML's 21-member executive board, as well as the strong and capable leadership of CML's executive director and his talented, influential, and responsive team of employees. If we can get another hand up from the CML employees who are here today. Thank you for all your amazing work. And all of whom are dedicated to advocacy, information, and training. Boulder could scarcely benefit from a finer group of individuals to partner with, and we appreciate it. It is with this background and in this historic venue, in recognition of CML's 100th anniversary and in sincere appreciation for all that CML has contributed, that we, the City Council of the City of Boulder, declare April 26th, 2023, today, as Colorado Municipal League Appreciation Day. Thanks so much.
Sam Mamet once told me when you have the vote, stop talking, but we got some time and I got some stuff to say before we close out. And he's not the boss of me anymore. I don't care what he says. And that brings me to something. So Karen says I'm supposed to thank everyone and then we're going to remain and socialize. And we will do that. However, there are a couple things that are left unsaid and I'm going to say them. First of all, hats off again to the student performers. Now, I get in the process of figuring out what's the best thing you want to talk about. You know, you edit and cut out some pieces. But man, like Mayor Gradisar, President John Jackson, he was a funny guy. And so he actually had a humorous, and you look at the picture out there, these were not, like jokey faces on the folks that were at least in the picture, but John Jackson had a funny streak. And so if those of you, I apologize if you heard me tell this story at our conference last year, but as part of his address, he sort of tackled why municipalities and municipal leaders are in the best position to handle difficult problems. And so here was part of his speech. Municipal problems are not easy. On the other hand, they're often complex and knotty, Knotty. And at times they call for great resourcefulness. To illustrate this point, I call to mind the story of Pat Flanagan, who was an inspector in a large city not far away. I've tried to figure out which one it was. Those of you who are historians may help me with this. It may have been Firestone, but anyway, I digress. Pat was required to make written reports to his superior officer when anything out of the usual happened in his department. One day, Pat got a telephone message that there was a dead horse on Catalpa Street. Pat went out to investigate, and after a long period of time, returned and wrote in his report as follows. Dear Sir, I have the honor to report that there is a dead horse on 4th Street. Yours truly, Pat Flanagan, Inspector. Why, said his companion in the office, I thought the dead horse was on Catalpa Street. He was, and Pat Flanagan says, he was on Catalpa Street, says Pat, but I couldn't spell Catalpa. So I got a truck and moved him over to 4th Street. It may not always be pretty, but we solve problems in municipalities, and Pat Flanagan was an innovator. Anyway, that's a story that City Council President John Jackson told, and went on to say, Pat was resourceful, all right, and deserved great credit for solving a very serious dilemma, but I trust President Norland that if any of your students become inspectors, their knowledge of spelling may be such as to relieve them of the necessity of resorting to such expedients in order to make an intelligent report. So I'm pretty sure that anyone graduating from CU or any elementary school probably did a little better job than Pat Flanagan, and so there you go. Look, this is a historic event in many ways. Obviously, 100 years in this building, which was a year old at the time, but it didn't happen by accident. So there were the 11 founding members. And for 100 years since, there have been elected board members, presidents, vice presidents, secretary treasurers, and board members from around the state as the league grew from 11 founding members to 270 today, that stepped up to not only serve their communities but also help guide the Municipal League. And there are a couple of them here today. We invited our honorary past presidents, and I just want to first acknowledge Susan Thornton, who's Mayor Littleton, Jim Gelwicks from Gunnison. I think I got everyone, but we also recognize others as honorary life members, and so I also want to acknowledge the guy who didn't hire me but was there when it happened, my predecessor, Sam Mamet, who was executive director of the Colorado Municipal League from 2005 to 2019, but his career at the league spanned 40 years of service. So please acknowledge Sam. Sam's predecessor, who couldn't be here today, but who Sam and I just saw recently, was Ken Boucher. Ken did hire me, so it's his fault if any of you want to blame him, but I think it turned out all right. And Ken just turned 85 last week, and I got to tell you, when Sam and I went over there, it was just like old times. I didn't get a word in edgewise. Ken had a career at the league that spanned 39 years, almost all of that as executive director from 1974 until 2005, and the league building, which turns 25 years old this day, or this year rather, and we will have a celebration later this year. Stay tuned, be ready to mark your calendars. Turns 25, and it's named after Ken because the building was his vision. After leaving CU and ultimately leaving Boulder, CML bounced around a couple different places and ultimately landed in 1998 at 1144 Sherman Street, thanks to Ken's vision and the board's willingness to implement that vision. And so we thank Ken for that and send him our very best wishes, he and his wife Bernice and his family. And last but not least, it's an unusual thing, but for the first time here recently, we also acknowledged a staff member as an honorary life member, the finest municipal attorney in the state of Colorado, who still provides insight and advice and occasionally picks up my breakfast tab, David Broadwell, retired CML General Counsel. So that's the history. It's built on 11 municipalities that came together and a whole bunch of people, staff, elected officials, CML staff, from every year since that have made the organization what it is today. And as far as I'm concerned, the premier municipal league in the United States. So that's an easy claim to make because no one's here to dispute it, but I still think it's true. And so please, as we close up today, spend some time getting to know each other. If there's people you don't know, share some war stories. I know we'll get some photos. We have some time to remain and socialize. We have some refreshments outside. I know the students are still here. And so please make sure to take time to do that. Last but not least, this would not have happened without Karen Rosen, our meeting and events coordinator's dogged insistence that we're going to do this and it's going to happen like this and we're going to make it happen. Karen, thank you. And thanks to Allison and Laura and the rest of the staff that also wasn't able to be here today. Okay, so with that, let's adjourn. Thank you all for coming. Let's socialize. We have some refreshments out in the lobby. And well, I won't be here the next 100 years, so when we do this again. So enjoy it for today, and thanks again.